I'm so pleased that everybody got carried away with time, because it really shows commitment and the fact that there are so many different stakeholders who really care about the issues. Um, I think just very quickly looking over everything that was said today, one theme that came out in a big way was the need for cooperation and coordination across government departments, across civil society, and we can discuss how best to take that forward. Another thing that came out was acknowledging the complexity of the situation, in the sense that street children have so many different kinds of identities. It's not a monolithic term, and their challenges can only be addressed if we acknowledge that there's sort of many different layers to this, and we need to understand children and their communities and their constraints. One thing that also came out, the third thing was reviewing the role of shelter homes and protection facilities. They have a role, they have a place. How is it that we can ensure, as Asab said, continuity of care? How is it that we can afford to do that? What is the best role for that kind of protection facility? And how can we work again with families and communities to make sure that children get the best care? Then there was a social protection. Number four was a social protection angle, and how we can actually support communities to get kids to access their rights, like the right to education, if there are incentives that can be provided. One thing I would add to that is, what about the families and communities that fall through the nets and don't have access to the right kind of documentation, for example, to be able to get formal social protection? So how is it that we can reach out to them and make sure that they can have access? Um, Finally, there's a need for a review of existing laws and their implementation, and to look at how government and implementers can work with spheres, and take things forward. So that's what those are the five main things that I took away, and I'm sure that there's many others. Osama, if there's anything that you would like to add, I would just like to say thank you to everybody from Cities for Children, especially also to Spark for facilitating the interviews and the videos that were shown, and the SDG Secretariat for all their help, as well as the Consortium for Street Children. Osama, if you have any last words, that's it from my end.
I just wanted to thank everyone, and like Madiha said, just staying way beyond the stipulated time shows how much everyone cares, and it also shows how complex the issue is because there's so many layers to it, and conversations like these are fundamental for us to arrive at workable, sustainable solutions. I'm glad we had a very good mix of multi-stakeholder, involvement, and I'm very thankful to Ms. Mehnaz Aziz, who's been spearheading child rights outside Parliament before and since she became a parliamentarian within the Parliament also. And we need champions like you to continue this forward. One thing I would say for me is critical is the voices of street children and their families and their educators. And I think that is something that we should not lose sight of at any point in time. So I think a lot of our intervention should include voices of the street children, of the most vulnerable children that we're discussing, and then keep their views and their lived experiences in our mind, and think more with our heart when it comes to children. Because they deserve all the empathy, that all the amazing people here that in their own right do so much and hold so much power can do.